The 20th of February, 2026, Friday, the U.S. Supreme Court rules 6-3 that President Trump's global tariff policy, imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, is unconstitutional. Case closed, right? Not even close. 24 hours later, the White House announces a new legal strategy invoking Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974 to slap a 15% tariff on all imports. So the court said no, but the president just hit rewind and tried again under a different law. Now, the real questions kick in. Can a president just ignore the Supreme Court? Can the court actually force him to comply? And is America's system of checks and balances starting to crack under pressure when branches of government collide? How does the whole thing hold together? This isn't just political theater. It's the core test of American democracy and the truth. It's messier than most people think. This kind of showdown has happened before more than once. And yes, one president flat out refused to obey the court. The most infamous example, Worcester v. Georgia, 1832. Chief Justice John Marshall wrote the opinion. Georgia had no authority to enforce its laws on Cherokee land. The federal government had a duty to protect native sovereignty. Clear, constitutional, final. But who was president at the time? Andrew Jackson. He ignored the ruling, kept pushing the Indian Removal Act of 1830, and reportedly quipped, "John Marshall has made his decision. Now let him enforce it." And what happened? The court had no army, no enforcement power. So the ruling gathered dust while tens of thousands of Cherokee, Muskogee, Choctaw, and other native peoples were forced west on the Trail of Tears. Thousands died along the way. It remains one of the darkest chapters in American history and a brutal reminder. A Supreme Court decision is only as strong as the executive's willingness to carry it out. But that's not the whole story. Sometimes the court does win. Take United States v. Nixon, 1974. During the Watergate investigation, special prosecutors demanded the White House tapes. Nixon refused, claiming absolute executive privilege. The question, can the president place himself above criminal justice? The court answered unanimously 8-0. Number even the three justices Nixon himself had appointed sided against him. Nixon complied, handed over the tapes. The evidence sealed his fate. He resigned weeks later, the first and only U.S. president to do so. Fast forward to today, in the recent tariff case, two of Trump's own appointees joined the majority to strike down his policy. Why would justices he picked turn on him? Because of one word: lifetime tenure. Once confirmed, Supreme Court justices don't answer to voters, donors, or presidents. They don't need reappointment. They don't run for office. Their only bosses are the Constitution and their own legacy. Trump called it betrayal, but that's not a bug, it's the whole point. The system isn't designed to produce loyalists, it's built to create independent referees. So who really holds more power, the president or the court? On paper, the president can defy a ruling. Jackson did, but defiance comes with consequences. It's not about raw power, it's about cost. As Thomas Jefferson once put it, the judiciary has neither sword nor purse. True, the court can't deploy troops or cut budgets, but the president, he's got vulnerabilities everywhere: public opinion, congressional oversight, impeachment, re-election. In today's hyper-connected world, defying the court isn't just a legal risk, it's a political firestorm waiting to ignite. Will the system collapse if they clash? Actually, no. Conflict isn't a sign the system's broken. It's proof it's working. The founders didn't want harmony. They wanted tension. Each branch has weapons. The president can veto. Congress can impeach. The court can nullify laws. But no one gets total control. That's the whole idea. Ambition must counteract ambition. Paradoxically, this friction creates stability, because when power is fragmented, no one can run away with it. Speed isn't the goal. Restraint is, and here's the twist in the current standoff. Trump didn't openly defy the court. He worked around it, switching statutes, rebranding the same policy under new legal cover, technically compliant, effectively defiant. There's no perfect system. Centralized power might move faster, but it also corrupts faster, because in the end, it's not about who wins the fight. It's whether the rules still hold when the fighting starts. That's how the world really works. I'm Daniel Wright. See you next time.